Greetings YouTube viewers, it is Sunday the 11th of July 2021 and today we find ourselves in St Leonards On Sea near Hastings in Sussex, and we're staying here for a couple of days. And the reason I wanted to film this today was to show you this amazing building called Marine Court, and I'm hoping that the first thing you'll say about this is it looks like a cruise ship, because I think that is the spirit of the architecture. It's quite an imposing building here on the very, very busy seafront at St Leonards, and it was built between 1936 and 38, back in the sort of Art Deco days. And as you can see, the front of it looks like the front of a ship, and it's 14 stories high, and as you can see, each level, each floor is sort of slightly shorter than the other, giving the effect at the front there of the front of a cruise liner. So we're just on the seafront here at St Leonards. I'd never actually heard of Marine Court until Julie and I went to an exhibition at the Sainsbury Centre at the University of East Anglia in Norwich called Art Deco by the Sea a year or two ago, and that was an exhibition that was specifically talking about the way in which Art Deco had shaped the architecture and the fashions of seaside resorts across the country in the 1920s and 30s. And Marine Court, which I'm videoing here, was given as examples, sort of classic example really of one of the iconic Art Deco buildings of its day. As I said earlier, it was built between 1936 and 38. The architects were Kenneth Dalgleish and Roger K. Pullen. And as you'll note, the kind of architecture really was heavily influenced, I think, by the Cunard White Star liner, the Queen Mary, which I think went into transatlantic service in 1936. So that was very fashionable at the time. And so what they've created here really is a block of seaside apartments and shops, really in the shape of a huge kind of white cruise ship. I've certainly not really seen anything like it in Norfolk, where we live. Of course, there are one or two Art Deco influenced buildings among our seaside resorts, Great Yarmouth, Galston, Lowestoft and Cromer, but nothing on this scale. I think during the Second World War it suffered some bomb damage and was repaired. And I was reading earlier, it was saying that the architecture has been kind of weakened slightly over the years with this building, because people have put in these kind of sunrooms, and they've glazed over the sort of balcony areas really. So some of the original impact of the architecture, I think, has been slightly diluted by these windows, some of which aren't always in a sort of matching style. Originally the whole thing would have been painted very bright white, and the shops below, which are kind of in a sort of colonnade style, would have been black, I suppose looking like the bottom of a ship. Over the years I think they've redone that little canopy you can probably see there, if I just show you, that looks like wavy lines of the sea. That's been redone, and you should be able to see Marine Court written on the side there. So yeah, it's a very interesting building. As I say, it suffered some bomb damage during the war, and they sought to repair that. I think over the years the sea air and the weather conditions generally haven't been kind to it. It's supposed to have been one of the first ever steel constructed steel shell buildings, and I believe it is 14 stories high, 170 feet high and 413 feet wide. So yes, an iconic building. It still has apartments in it which come up for sale from time to time. I'll just video the back in a moment when I'm along there. So yes, it's the good ship Marine Court, based on the Cunard White Star liner, the Queen Mary, here in St Leonards On Sea near Hastings. So there are little cafes and restaurants and boutiques along the bottom here in the shopping area. Probably would have been quite interesting to know what the original shops would have been under there back in the day. Unfortunately, when this building was completed in 1938, of course, we immediately pretty much hit the Second World War. And so I'm not sure that it quite had the impact that it should have done when it originally opened, because obviously that was a time of austerity and the emphasis was on the war, and so therefore the glamour and sort of vibrancy of this place probably never quite happened because of the war period. I'm just going to take you along towards the back of the ship here.
Hello, Hillary.
There's a lady sitting on a bench just watching me film. It's an incredibly beautiful sunny summer's day we have here in St Leonards today. It's t-shirt weather. Quite noisy along this prom. A little bit like I'd say maybe Great Yarmouth, Lowestoft, which is nearer to where we live. I'm just going to show you the back of this building because it looks like the back of a cruise ship. Some people are in the sea swimming and on the beach. And yeah, if you just look up here, you can see the back of Marine Court is sort of blunted off at the end there, like the stern. I believe it's called the stern of a ship. Seagulls flying overhead. And you'll notice from the video here that one or two people have kind of blocked in their balconies with those sunrooms, which are probably very nice. Yeah, probably add quite a lot to the flat. It's actually nice, but as an architectural piece, I suppose the look of the thing isn't quite what it was. I'm told that it looks quite spectacular from sea level when you're out in the sea and looking back inland, as if there's a big cruise ship berthed on the promenade at St Leonards On Sea. So that's it, July the 11th, 2021, and we're leaving you here with Marine Court, St Leonards on the seafront. It's July the 12th, 2021, and I've just popped back on here to show you the view from Hastings Pier, looking back towards the seafront of Hastings and going into St Leonards on Sea, because I wanted to just film what Marine Court looks like from a distance, and I'm hoping you'll agree that it does indeed look like a luxury liner cruise ship just moored at the end there on the landscape, the coastal landscape. So yeah, a very interesting building. Our friend Jane, who's been entertaining us this weekend, says that her grandparents used to have a flat in Marine Court, and apparently the interior is all decked out a little bit like a luxury cruise ship inside as well, so that's interesting. So we've had an enjoyable time down here on the south coast. That's Marine Court under a very, very grey, stormy sky, but with a turquoise sea here at Hastings and St Leonards on Sea. And it is July 2021.